awesome. Welcome. Okay. So again, I'm Andrew Habsala. I've been at Zillow about 5 years. I've worn several different hats. Most recently, I managed our account management department. I really have been helping agents for about 5 years, and I've been in the industry about 10 as a realtor myself. And I have a special guest, an inside Zillow expert as well, Paul Moore, who's also been at Zillow a long time. Paul, do you want to mention a word or two about yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Paul. I lead a team of account managers here at Zillow. We focus mainly on onboarding new Premier agents and provide a lot of follow-up consulting and coaching. Main focus is just helping agents get here and get a good return on investment.
Awesome, Paul. Thanks. We're also really, really fortunate to have some guests today with us. And so Eric and Janelle Boyenga, I want to introduce them, and then I'll have them say a few words about themselves. Eric and Janelle are top producing real estate agents, and they're built a pretty awesome team in the Silicon Valley. They focus on luxury real estate, and they've achieved over $800 million in sales and have received numerous awards, including being the #1 sales team at Intero Real Estate for 2012, 13, and 14. Intero Real Estate Chairman Circle top 1%, 2004 all the way through 2014. They've been named in the top 100 nationally ranked realtors by Wall Street Journal. #1 top producer nationally for home gain. They are also members of our Zillow Agent Advisory Board, which are comprised of agents all over the United States. We consult with them before we make big decisions. And then they're also members of the Northern California Top Producer Network. And so I hope I've done at least a little bit of due diligence to introduce you guys. Eric and Janelle, do you want to kind of maybe introduce yourselves, how long you've been in the business, what markets you serve?
Andrew, thank you for the wonderful introduction. This is Janelle Boyenga. We have been in business for 20 years. Eric and I, husband and wife team, working together. We work in the Silicon Valley, anywhere from Palo Alto to Los Gatos. We have 10 members on our team, our growing team, and we're growing rapidly.
Awesome.
And I would say, I would say with anything, with growing the team, we're actually looking for new agents all the time. So that's what happens when you're growing.
Okay, and we might ask you how you went from just individuals to maybe adding a +1 and growing the team throughout the webinar.
That would be great.
Cool. The title of today's webinar is Win More Business with the Zillow Premier Agent Program. And the things you can expect are we're going to cover some topics, but we're also going to ask Eric and Janelle their real-life experience that we can all draw from. And it all starts with optimizing your free profile. And that's if you're an agent that's not advertising. If you are advertising, kind of what to do with your profile to stand out. And then tips for converting contacts, including kind of Zillow's tools that we offer, but also real-life examples from Eric and Janelle on how to take those contacts and then actually turn them into clients. And then lastly, our new product, it's called the Premier Agent Video Ad. A lot of agents our Premier agents are taking advantage of, so we'll look into that as well. So I'll just start really quickly. Optimizing success as a Premier Agent starts with a great profile. Our research really shows that our consumers, who are your future clients and current clients, they're looking at a few things when they first decide who to select. First, they're looking at your headshot. We always really encourage a really crisp, clean headshot to really stand out, but also your bio. So consumers are looking at agents, but before they even reach out, they're reading, obviously we'll cover reviews as well, but what you write about yourself in your bio section is really important. If they're a listing client of yours, they're really looking to make sure that their listings are advertised correctly as well. So showcasing your listings are really important. And then, of course, the two most important things we're going to cover right off the bat, reviews and past sales. And so I've just pulled up the Boyenga's profile here that you can see. We're going to cover what that, at the bottom where it says preferred lenders, we're going to cover that topic as well. And then you can see kind of their past sales and highlighted there in the yellow on the map. So reviews and past sales. I'll start here just because we know it's such a huge topic. On Zillow, we now have over 860,000 reviews published for real estate agents across the country. That's a huge number. Consumers trust and rely on reviews, as we know, in all aspects of their life. I know this personally, from restaurants to products on Amazon, TripAdvisor. I just booked personally a trip on Airbnb, and the host of that trip got back to me within 5 minutes. I was super impressed, and within 10, I had my flat booked that I'm going to be using this weekend. So when consumers are thinking about making the largest transaction of their entire life, you bet they're definitely reading about agents, and they're reading about the experiences your clients have had and the responses to those. So first question for Eric and Janelle. How many reviews do you have? And I'm really curious as well, what point in the transaction do you really focus on asking your clients to review you?
How many?
Well, I mean, I believe we're almost at 100 reviews now, and you know, we always try to check in with the client around the time of closing, usually when we meet them at the title company, or right when they're at their kind of most happiest part of the transaction, usually, which is when they're getting their check.
Well, so each client is unique, as we know, and that's a big part of our success, is really not doing everything cookie cutter. Every client is unique, and so the timing to ask for a review would change based on what's going on with the transaction. So like Eric said, when the client is probably at the peak of the excitement, then you say, would that be a great time? And I mean, that would be a great opportunity for us to say, would you mind writing a review for us, and share what you shared with us to other people to help our business grow. And of course, they're so excited, they want to do it for you, and they feel good about doing it. And it's amazing how our business does grow from those reviews. Those reviews are critical. If you're going to be on Zillow and spend money, you need to work on your profile. I can't emphasize that enough. You really need to, and your clients are happy to do it. You just need to find a nice, natural way to ask them. We also will let them know that we're going to send an email out. So at the end of every transaction, we have our transaction coordinator draft thank you note, congratulations, email, and then a link to Zillow. And so it's that, then we back it up. So we verbally ask them, and then we actually send them an email to give them make it easy for them, right? Because we know everyone is really busy. There's also other ways you can do it. You can do it on your phone. And Andrew, you could probably say that Zillow has an app where you can do it on your phone and request a review right there, right?
Which is great. I mean, you can say, hey, I'm going to email you a request right now, press the button on your Zillow app, and it's out there, ready to go. So you can't go wrong with that.
So we'll cover the app as well. I'm also really curious. I've got a review pulled up here, and this is actually a review that came in for you guys last November, it looks like, and within a day you'd responded to it. And so I'm really curious that, you know, as we travel around the country, we're hearing the #1 tip right now being like the response to the review is so important and crucial. What compels you to respond, and, you know, have you seen results from that?
I think the response can be as crucial as the review itself. I actually, if you want to know, early on we didn't respond to many of them, but we're starting to, with each new review, respond to it, just giving an affirmation, and also, you know, not just being able to give a little bit of a way to plug a little bit more of how we did in the transaction, but to truly, you know, show our gratitude to our client. And I think when that is shown, people want to, you know, people look up to that and want to.
Right, it makes us look like we care time, and so we're saying, well, thank you. You know, we appreciate them. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I'm hearing a lot, you can really highlight what the key component of that transaction was. So if it was a listing, for example, you really, and in your response, you can really highlight that it was a listing. Or if it was a relocation client, you can then re-highlight the relocation aspect of that transaction, because consumers are not just reading the review, but they're reading what agents are saying. And agents on Zillow have the last say. So it's not that you just respond when it's a negative if that was to ever happen. It's that, you know, a lot of agents are responding to every single review, re-highlighting, and that's a really big tip we're hearing around the country. So I want to now transition to another topic. It's the past sales, and that's the other screenshot that all you listeners see kind of on the slide here. And I'm going to ask our account management manager here, Paul, sort of what the importance is, how he's coaching agents on adding past sales.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks. So I'm sure some of you listeners have probably already done this, but I bet some of you haven't yet. So it's kind of the other huge part of optimizing your profile. In addition to those reviews, you kind of have to put yourself in the consumer's shoes. When they're looking at a listing on Zillow and they see that little list of agents they want to contact to the right, the three things that really stand out are obviously your headshot and your reviews, but the past sales really stand out. And more importantly, your recent sales in the last 12 months. So that's really the first thing to focus in on, is adding in your recent sales. Eventually, you can get in all your past sales if you want, going back into history. For all you listeners, feel free. We're going to give you our email addresses after this wraps up. And you can send us a spreadsheet with your past sales. We can add those in for you. Once you get all those in, you'll have a cool little map on here right on your profile that shows all your sales history, all your active listings, and it's a great way to stand out. So to all the listeners, you know your profile is really the first part of the equation on how to get contacts and leads coming in the door. But once you have those contacts, the second part is really how to convert those contacts and leads into actual clients, into real business, so you can get some good return on investment with Zillow. So Andrew's going to speak a little bit more about that.
Thanks, Paul. And also to everyone, because of the rocky start on the webinar, and I was hoping Janelle and Eric would join, I forgot to mention a couple housekeeping things. There is a panel on the GoToMeeting panel, top right-hand corner. You can access questions there. Paul's keeping track of all the questions, and we're going to save some time at the very end. So I just wanted to quickly mention that. On the lead conversion tool aspect of what we offer, before we ask sort of Eric and Janelle how they respond to leads, we know response time is really important. We kind of want to highlight a couple of the tools. Eric had already mentioned the Zillow app, and this app is new, and it's actually customized and built into the current existing app many of you probably already have on your phone. And when you log in with your agent credentials, it gives you access to the back end of your profile. And like Eric mentioned, you can request reviews and add your past sales right from the Zillow mobile app. What we've built into it furthermore, though, are a couple of really neat tools. And the first one is autoresponders. It's a really powerful tool because you can customize a quick email inside of the Zillow app, and as soon as that lead comes in, and the autoresponder that you pre-selected can actually respond back to that consumer. So if it's after hours or you're at a listing appointment, these are the times when that Zillow autoresponder is going to really come in handy. You can also respond via text as well, which is new. And again, it helps you kind of manage contacts on the go. So that's the Zillow mobile app. I want to really quickly highlight as well our Tech Connect partners. So we have up to 45 partners right now in our Tech Connect program. This is a really powerful program, y'all. This is where we've actually partnered with different CRMs, which are basically an acronym for Customer Relation Management Platforms. This is companies like Boomtown, Zirple, Commissions Inc. And a lot of you are maybe already using these tools. And what we found was the best CRM that you're using is the right one for you. And we want to make it really easy to streamline your Zillow contacts directly into those CRMs, so you don't have to do duplicate work. You can manage all of your contacts and let the CRMs do what they normally do, whichever one that you're using. So we're basically up to 45 partners. We always preach a 5-minute response time. We know that's not easy. We know you all have work-life balances. And so for Eric and Janelle, busy team, you started off just as yourselves and then you grew into a team. How is it that you're managing your contacts? Maybe what CRM are you using?
Okay, well, it's critical, as we know, that you respond quickly. And we were really having a hard time responding quickly just because the crazy amount of inquiries we get daily. So we hired an inside salesperson to respond to every client contact that comes in immediately, and that's her job. And because it is a 24/7 job, we also have backup and we take turns. But basically, we use a CRM, but still, the CRM isn't. The ultimate goal is to get someone on the phone with that person right away, right?
So the CRM is not the end-all. We use Commissions Inc., which is amazing. It's been great for us. But I can tell you that, there is no drip or auto response that's going to be good for really cultivating a contact or a lead. Truly, you have to think about who that contact is, what they want. The one thing that I really love about Commissions Inc. is that they have a social graph on it, which means that when a lead comes in, I can see, if they have a Facebook account, a LinkedIn, Pinterest, I can get a little idea of who they are. Oh, okay, I can find out this guy's running a startup in the social space. And so then I actually can build some commonality, and I know, okay, this would be perfect for this agent, or this is one that I think I'm going to handle myself. But I would say that the beauty is with the internet today and all the information you can get off it, you really want to spend a minute or two researching before you just follow up with a contact or lead. It makes more sense, because if you come armed with the ammo, if they're looking at a house, you should know if there's any other houses in the neighborhood available. You really need to know your stuff, and really, if you can show your expertise, the cultivation and conversion goes up tremendously.
So Eric, or Janelle, for the contacts that you reach back out to that you can't get a hold of, have you seen them convert like after 5, 6, 7 attempts, and what's that process like? I mean, some agents, when they call a consumer back and they don't get a hold of them, they consider it a dead lead. Do you consider it a dead lead, or how do you cultivate them down the funnel?
So there's different ways to do it. We always try to follow the medium they use. If we're not getting anywhere by email and it came in as an email, we'll try texting them. We'll try calling them, and if all three don't work, we try kind of a three-pronged approach of trying each of them 3 times. After that, we'll put them on a drip, and a very small percentage of those end up becoming a lead that we convert, but we still get some of those. So it doesn't make any sense to just let them disappear. We throw those on drip, and still you may cultivate some of those in the future, but really the most important thing with anything in real estate, especially when it comes to lead conversion and contact conversion, is timing. So the drips can help for that, but again, I would say, if anything, I always take a soft approach on drip. I'm not one of these heavy drip campaigners. We try to kind of mirror people's motivation, and really we found that if you research the lead, even if you aren't able to get a hold of them, if you have a social graph on them, you may know, okay, these people just came from out of town. Maybe they're a year out anyways, and maybe they're not answering the phone or replying because they're probably at the moment renting. So we just kind of like to be in front of them enough, but not overwhelming.
So the way I look at it is you hit it hard at first, and if you can't connect with them, then you just keep them in the pipeline. You don't just let them go, and they resurface. Sometimes they put their feelers out and they get overwhelmed because everyone is coming at them, and then if you're just gentle, and then they'll come back to you. So you you can give people information and don't expect them to talk to you. You can just email them. It can be soft, and then they'll like that gentle approach. Sometimes people get really intimidated, so you have to think of this individual as sometimes just getting pounded by realtors, and sometimes they just want to take a break. Or sometimes people are just really busy, and the timing, even though they reached out to you, the timing wasn't right. They don't have time, so definitely don't want to give up on any of the incoming contacts, and don't throw them away, because those are people that want help. That's why they went out and put their feelers out. And one thing that I learned a couple years ago from Eric, which was really hard to believe, was I thought the ultimate was just call someone. You get a number. If they're giving you a number, call them. So I kept calling this person and sending emails, and Eric kept saying, just text them, just text them. And so finally he sent a text, and it was like a miracle. They replied in seconds. So that's really important to really understand how people want to be contacted.
Awesome. That was incredible. Thank you both so much. I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to talk about another Zillow product a lot of agents are using to help subsidize a portion of their Premier Agent spend on Zillow. And I'm going to have Paul kind of talk about what we call lender co-marketing.
Sure thing. So lender co-marketing, if you're not using it, you definitely should be. So the way it works is pretty simple. You can invite your lender to co-market with you on Zillow. They partner with you there and share the bill with you. So you can kind of see an example here where this agent Michael Blinn has his lender Lucy Robbins co-marketing with him. You could have one lender paying up to 50% of your bill every month, or you can have up to 5 lenders paying 90% of your bill. So a lot of agents are then taking that money they're saving and reinvesting it into more exposure on Zillow for them or for their preferred lenders. So there's a lot of these products out there. I want to keep kind of talking about some of these new products on Zillow. One new one that we've seen a lot of early success with in the past few months is the Zillow Premier Agent video ad. Right, Andrew?
Okay, thanks, Paul. And I know on the lender co-marketing, if there's any questions as well, like you can email us later. We just want to make sure we save a couple minutes for questions at the end here. So I'm going to move right into the Premier Agent video ad. And this is a new product to Zillow and a new product to Premier Agents. And a lot of agents are using it. They're using video more and more in the industry. Some are using it to respond to contacts and leads, but a lot of agents are using it to help build their brand as well. So Zillow's Premier Agent video ad designed specifically for Premier Agents, and it's for agents that have been on the program at least 6 months. It's also complementary to what we call like kind of the direct response. That's the lead capture form, the contact that you normally get. In the difference between a direct response is this product is really about brand awareness. So Premier Agents are targeting the zip codes they currently own. So you advertise video in the zip code that you're already in, and it helps promote your brand. And what we've been hearing, and I'd love to ask Eric and Janelle quickly, and then we'll take, it's almost, we've got about 3 minutes, but it's complementary, and then the quality of the contacts are increasing. So consumers are watching you, understanding you for months before sometimes they even reach out. By the time they reach out, they feel like they know you, and the video is helping with that. And real quick, Eric and Janelle, is that true?
It is. I mean, we've noticed a definite higher responsiveness or response rate from prospects. So people get to know us a little more. They get an idea of who we are. I mean, there's
we just went on a listing presentation yesterday, and at the end of it, the client had seen us on this video and had seen us online. It's not just, and keep in mind, it's not just one place. You have to be everywhere, and you have to have a good profile, and you have to look professional, and it's a combination of things. But they saw the video, they knew who we were, and basically we didn't even ask, do you want to list with us? At the end, he's saying, okay, I'm ready. Let's list. I'm ready to list the property, and you get that where people feel comfortable because they've already seen you. They feel like they already know you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're hearing that more and more. So, and again, the video product, it's unique. I'm in the follow-up survey to all the listeners. If you want more information on video, feel free. You can either email theacademy@zillow.com and we'll get you connected to somebody, or in the survey there's an answer if you do want one of the questions. You can chime yes if you want. So I want to take a couple minutes for questions. Paul, you've been kind of keeping track?
Yeah, we've got a lot of questions coming in. One question topic that comes up a bunch here is, hey, my CRM doesn't connect to Zillow through Tech Connect. How can I get it connected? Top producer, market leader. One of the main things you got to do is ask your CRM provider if they provide you with a lead forwarding email address. You can then take that lead forwarding email address. I know Market Leader and Top Producer provide this, and you can forward your Zillow leads to that email. Those will directly import right into your Market Leader or Top Producer or other CRMs that provide that. Another question we had here that was interesting is to Janelle and Eric, actually. And one listener wants to know just kind of how did you get started with Zillow? How many zip codes did you start with? And then also, at what point in your business did you know that you needed to start a team?
Oh, that's a good one. I mean, that's a long one to get to everything, but I can tell you that we started with actually about 10 zip codes, and with kind of a small coverage in each, and then saw kind of where we were getting the most bang for our buck and started to actually increase zip codes. I've never gone for full coverage on any zip code up until recently, where we do a good chunk of our business, but we felt that, you know, getting 1/3 of the coverage in many zip codes and taking a kind of a wider swath was the approach we wanted to take. So it didn't just help us, you know, it helped in the branding as well as giving us a kind of a wider range, since we do work a large area. Of Silicon Valley, tends to be a good 30-mile radius, and so that's the approach we used. And
what we found is the more that we spend on Zillow, the more return we get. I mean, it pays for itself tenfold. And then we were fortunate enough to partner with First Option Mortgage, and they've enabled us to not subsidize us, but spend more money. So they spend money, and we spend money.
And we all grow together.
And so now we're bursting at the seams, and we're definitely needing we're looking for a new hire, but we want to, it's the old saying, hire slow, fire fast. We don't like to fire, so we have to hire really slow. But we have a problem that most realtors wish they would have, where we have just too much business. So we're referring business out, and that is actually helping us recapture some of the dollars, a lot of the money spent on the marketing online.
And I would say, with Commissions Inc. and with First Option, what we've found is we have a direct, they're directly connected to the CRM. So when someone comes in, if they need to be pre-approved, we press a button. First Option's there to follow up as well, and this way it's just a seamless way to work with a contact.
And a quick response about growing our team. We knew from the beginning that the two of us couldn't just do it all. There's too many different skills that you need in this industry, so if you could find people to do the skills that you don't like to do that much or you're not good at, then you run your business like a team, and everybody has their own department, so to speak. We all have overlapping skill sets, but if we can just specialize, for example, I specialize on negotiation or design, then you're better at what you actually do, and you can give better service, and also you're not at 24/7. If something happens and you need to go away, you have your whole team to support you. So, but I will tell everyone, when you're thinking of hiring your first person, it's scary because you think of all the money you're going to spend. But you have to remember, if you spend money, you're going to make money. Okay, so you just have to take the leap. I remember I only hired our first assistant part-time because I was so scared of the cost of a full-time assistant. And then I hired two. So that's, if you spend the money, it's going to come back to you. And if you run your business like a business, it's like magic.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. We're a couple minutes over, but we still have a lot of listeners on, and if you guys have just even one more minute. One question that Jeff had that I can actually just answer is just how do you thank the reviewer? And that's Jeff, that's actually in the respond to review link. So when you're on your reviews page, when you're looking at the review itself, there's a little link at the bottom. As long as you're signed in, it'll say respond to review. You click that button, and that's where you can enter in the text. And then and again, you have the last say and the last word, so that it's not a conversation that will keep going. It's just that one awesome response that you can offer. So I want to conclude, make sure we're respectful of everyone's time, and a couple of just resources. Again, my personal email address, andrewh@zillow.com. Paul's is paulm@zillow.com. And then our Zillow Academy, if you have any further questions, is theacademy@zillow.com. To all you listeners, your first point of contact, obviously your sales representative, your account manager, but you now have a couple others that you can reach out to for help and assistance. We want to make sure everyone is as successful as possible on this program, and we're always here to be an additional resource. And Eric and Janelle, do you have any last kind of things you want to say before we conclude?
Yeah, well, I would just say if anyone has any questions, we're always happy to help and give advice in what's worked for us and the challenges we've had. And they could feel free to email us at homes@boyenga.com and reach out to us. We'd be happy to at least give our 2 cents.
Awesome. Thank you both. And go ahead.
We appreciate you joining us and giving us this opportunity, and hopefully this information was helpful. Thank you all.
Awesome. And thank you, guys. And I just want to say one more thing because we can't answer all these questions, but Steve Dupor, who wrote us and said he just received a Zillow lead during this webinar, texted them back and hopes to schedule a showing today. Thanks for sharing that with us. We love those stories as well. So
that happens all the time. That's new in our
right.
Thank you.
You guys.
Thank you all. Have an awesome day, everybody. Thank you so much.
Take
Bye.
care. Thank you.
Bye now.